Students, till last lecture we all were talking about the chromosomal mechanism of the sex determination. We all have seen the role of chromosome, that how the chromosomes are responsible for determining the sex of individual. We have seen there are various types. We were just knowing only XX and XY mechanism which is present into the human, but we have seen that there is XXX0 also, there is ZZZW also, and the Drosophila is totally different, right? Not only this, we also have learned about the Haplodiploidy. So this is all the chromosomal mechanism, or we can say the genetic mechanism, where the genes are influencing the sex of an individual. But this point onwards, we will be talking about the non-chromosomal mechanism of the sex determination. Non-chromosomal mechanism of sex determination means chromosomes are not involved. That means here the genes will not play the role for determining the sex of an individual. So what is this mechanism? Actually, this mechanism, we will be talking about the two aspects. One is the hormonal influence. How does the hormone is deciding the sex of an individual, and what is the role of hormones. Then there in that we will be learning two examples. One example is of free martin and sex reversal we will be learning. Thereafter we will be talking about the environmental role. You will be very surprised to know that the environment can also determine the sex of an individual. Yes, but it's true. You are going to learn such type of aspects a lot in zoology. So let us begin with this non-chromosomal mechanism of the sex determination. First, we will be talking about the hormonal mechanism. So this hormonal mechanism was discovered by the American biologist Frank Lilly Free Martin. Now, what is this Martin? It is actually name of a cow, Free Martin. So Martin is a Dutch term, most probably Flemish, which is used for no milk or no offspring. Means sterile, we can say, right? So the cow was found that she is sterile, and you will be very surprised to know she was sterile because she was born as a twin with the brother, means with the male. So Frank Lilly, when he was studying, so he found that free Martin female calf has born with co-twin with a male. That's why she is sterile. Then this his discovery was very surprising, but it was found in many cattle. So they all come into the conclusion that when both are producing into the same, means the mother is same because they are co-twins. So that time they share the placental membrane, and during the development the male sibling is producing the masculizing hormone, and this hormone is responsible for changing the sex. Now what is going to be happen that this is going to give severe abnormality, means the fetus, developing female fetus, they will have the morphological character fetus, so morphological character as a female only, but they will be sterile, means they will not be able to give milk, or they will not be able to produce the offspring. Now why this is happening? Because during the development testosterone is produced by the male sibling, right? And testosterone is a lipid soluble hormone, so that can be transferred from male twin to female. Now what is this testosterone will do? This testosterone hormone will start accumulating into the amniotic fluid. We all know that the placental animals, they have the amniotic fluid filled into their placenta. Not only this, it can also transfer into the interfetal membrane. Then accumulation of higher musculization hormone will cause the masculization into the female. Not only this, female tubular reproductive tract will completely degenerate. Now, female reproductive tract is degenerated during the development. What it will do? It will not be able to produce the offspring into the future. So, free Martin syndrome affected calf has normal external morphology similar to fertile cow, but anatomically and physiologically, she will be hermaphrodite sterile animal, and it will occur most probably into the cows only, but it is occasionally seen into the sheep, goats, pigs, etc. Hence, this syndrome is a big challenge to the animal husbandry. See, I will repeat once again. Free Martin is the name of a cow, and Martin term is derived from the Dutch language, so which means the sterile. All right. So what happens when a female cow born as a co-twin with the male? So, what will happen? This male during the development, we know that the co-twin they share the placental membrane. So, this co-twin will produce some masculizing hormone, that is the testosterone, and this testosterone will start accumulating into the amniotic fluid, which is same for the both. So this amniotic fluid with the testosterone will produce some effects into the developing genital organ of the female cow, and this female calf will not be able to produce the offspring in the future. So the point to be remembered in the case of the free martin, genotypically they will be female, and morphological characters. See, in all these cases, you all need to remember what is going to be the genotype, morphological character, anatomical and physiological, means about their sterilization or the fertilization. Okay, so the point to be remembered in this case is that the free martin cow will be genotypically female. I repeat, they will be genotypically female. That means they will be possessing the chromosomes which will be responsible for the determining the female sex. Understand? And thereafter, phenotypically, that means their external morphological character will be like cows only. Now we can easily discriminate between the cow and the ox, right? They have the sexual dimorphism, right? So they will absolutely look like the cow only. By seeing, you cannot discriminate between the fertile cow and the free martin. They will look absolutely normal like fertile cow, but physiologically and anatomically. Anatomically means it is related to the organ development. Their organ, their genitalia will not be formed properly because of the high accumulation of testosterone during their development. Their genitalia will not be proper. So because of that reason, they will not be able to produce milk as well as the offspring. So physiologically, they will be sterile. So this is about the free martin. It is thought that it actually not occur into the human being, but in some recent studies, it is observed that the girls, those who have, female, those who have born co-twin with their brothers are having the low capacity of childbearing. Means it is found that most of the time they are getting problem in conceiving, but totally this free martin phenomena does not follow into the human category. Shall we go to the next case, that is the sex reversal? Sex reversal. Note down the definition of the sex reversal. Sex reversal is a process which involves surgical operation or hormonal influence or physiological effect that changes sexual identity of an animal from one sex to the other sex. That is called as the sex reversal. I repeat, sex reversal is a process which involves surgical operation. So there are three aspects. One is the surgical operation, hormonal influence, or physiological effect. So what is this? Sex reversal is a process which involves surgical operation or hormonal influence or physiological effect which changes the sexual identity of an animal from one sex to the other sex. Now that means if the individual is male, male will change to the female or female may change to the male. So they will change their, means they are born completely with one particular type of sex, but due to surgical operation or due to the hormonal influence or due to any physiological effect, they will suddenly change their sex. Means from male they will convert to the female, or from female they may convert to the male. So this is called as the sex reversal. First, it was reported into the chicken, and they were observing that the external appearance look like cock, and they are doing the crowing and all everything from the cock, like the cock only. But genetically, they were having the this their chromosome or their genetically appearance was like female cock. Sorry, not female cock, female hen. So why their genes are like hen and why they are looking like cock? So there was one scientist, F.A.E. Crew. He was studying on that, and he found that there are certain reasons which are changing the sex of the female hen into the cock. So, in the case of the bird, one need to remember that in the case of the female bird, there only one ovary is functional. It does not mean they are born with the one ovary only. Actually, one ovary is functional and one ovary is degenerated. So what happens in the case of the chicken, their left side ovary is left side is functional ovary, so that means the right side ovary, we know that the are two in the case of the female. So the right side ovary that regress during the embryonic development, and it remains non-functional as a residual body. So their ovary will remain in their body only, but it will be regress and it will not be functional. So what happens? So in certain cases, like I told you, what could be the factor? It could be operational, hormonal, or physiological. So in certain adverse condition, or you can say the disease like ovarian cyst or any endocrine failure, so that particular time this left side ovary get damaged. Now left side ovary get damaged, it will give effect on the body, right? So suddenly the right side ovary, which was the residual body, okay, so that convert into the ovotestis. Note down the term ovotestis. Ovotestis is just like an organ which have the tissue characteristic of both ovary as well as testis. Now say this is the residual degenerated body. Sudden physiological changes, sudden hormonal changes, or sudden type of surgical operation, it will give the endocrine challenge, that means the hormonal challenge to the body of that hen, and because of that suddenly the right side degress ovary which was non-functional, that will suddenly start uh, developing, and now it is a regress part, so suddenly it cannot completely become the functional ovary. So instead of ovary it will convert into the ovotestis, and this ovotestis will be having the Now see, ovotestis, that means in between, right? So this organ will having the characteristic of ovary as well as the testis. So now we know that ovary, it produce the estrogen hormone and the testis produce the androgen hormone. So what this ovotestis will produce then? It will produce androgenic as well as the estrogenic hormone. And under the influence of this hormone, female chicken or hen will develop a comb. Now we know the comb is the characteristic of the cock, not the hen, as well as their feathers. Now crowing habit also we cannot see into the female, right? We can see into the cock only. So point to be remembered here, their external morphological character will start looking like a cock, not the hen. What they are genetically, they are the female, they are the hen, but due to this ovotestis they will start producing the androgenic and estrogenic hormone. So this hormone will bring changes into the body of that female, and suddenly they will develop a comb, they will develop the feather like the cock, they will develop also the crowing habits like a cock. So they will get the external morphological characters like a cock. But genetically, the female chicken, they will be exhibit the morphological character as well as the behavior which will start matching with the cock as the male hen. Now you might be thinking, ma'am, this is ovotestis, then it is also producing the estrogen, then why not female? So the point to be remembered, in the previous case also we learned that the developing testosterone is changing the hormones, so male hormones are dominant. Okay, we have all have learned about the Mendelian genetics. So male hormones are dominant, so that's why they will show the characteristic like the male one. So what we have learned in the case of the sex reversal, genetically, that means their genotype is like one sex and phenotype is like another. So in the case of the chicken, if this particular problem is going to be happen, that means if ovarian cyst has been formed or endocrine failure occurs, so that particular time the female will develop external morphology of the cock. We need to remember external morphological character will be look like the cock, that means the male. So that's why this is a complete sex reversal, and this female will also have the physiological changes. She will not be able to produce egg, or she cannot copulate with the female. Now external genitalia, that means external character is like the cock, so it does not mean that it can copulate with the hen. So it cannot copulate, it cannot produce the egg. So both the character, now see, we know the when we talk about the sexual character, so sexual character is copulating in male, and in the case of the female they produce the egg. So this female, genetically female and morphologically male, will neither be able to lay the eggs nor be able to copulate with the female. So this is about the chicken case. Let us study one more example in the case of the human. Now what we know about the human, in the case of the human, XY, when I will ask XY genotype, definitely one thing will come in your mind, that the person is the male, right? But interestingly, there were some female, they were found with the XY chromosome. Then what happened actually? This XY, that means the Y chromosome, this Y chromosome have the TDF, that is testis determining factor. This TDF is controlled by the gene, that gene is called as the SRY. I repeat, TDF, that is the testis determining factor, which is controlled by the SRY gene. that gene is present on the Y chromosome of the male that is responsible for determining the male sex in the case of the human. So what happened due to any mutation, or you can say any uh, changes into the chromosomal makeup, this SRY get deleted from the Y chromosome. Now see the important gene which was responsible for the formation of the male character, that gene is deleted. So that causes the gonadal dysgenesis. Now gonadal dysgenesis, gonads means the reproductive organ. So gonadal dysgenesis will happen, it will lead to produce the female type of morphological as well as the behavioral character. Now, in previous lecture, I told you in the case of the human, the by default fate of a developing embryo is what is the female only. Means a developing embryo will take all the characteristic of the female. But this SRY gene is responsible for inhibiting for the formation of the Mullerian duct. But now this SRY gene is not there. So the female characteristic will develop. So this female, this particular individual will look like female. That means all the characters will be of female as well as the behavior will also be female. But genetically they are male. So they will we produce all the sexual characteristic of the female only. But now you only think they will be sterile or fertile. They will be sterile. Why they will be sterile? Because they don't have the perfect double X copy. Understood? So this is all about the sex reversal. At this note we will stop, but we will be continuing with the non chromosomal basis of the sex determination into the next lecture. And in the next lecture we will learn the another factor, that is the environment. We will learn how the environment is playing role in deciding the sex of an individual. In that we will be learning two example like this. So for this note we'll stop for today. Thank you.